Still had an innie, but didn't have an outie.
Still had an Audi, didn't have an innie.
No, there was no outie yet.
There was nothing?
No, it was still the innie. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of Not Robots Podcast. He's your host, Harry.
I'm hosting today.
You are. Fantastic.
Nobody told
Guess
me
who else is hosting?
I don't have hors d'oeuvres. I should have gotten a poo-poo platter. I mean, where's my maid's uniform? I mean...
Wait a minute.
I don't know.
Wrong kind of hosting, I think.
Which hosting are we referring to?
Yeah, hosting a show.
Anime host club hosting? I mean, are we like people coming and, everybody's like sake pour? I mean, what hosting are we doing here?
Not.
Am I hosting web pages?
No, and you're not hostessing either.
So you mean I'm
holstering.
not a cupcake or a ho-ho or a ring ding?
A ding dong.
Or a ding dong for that matter?
Probably are.
Well, yeah, probably am a ding dong.
But this is episode...
Oh, by the way, that's Pete.
There we go. I was waiting on it. Episode 14. See, you're doing it again. Move your hands the other... There we go. 1-4 is 14. At least in English. And a few other languages. And today we're going to be asking...
We're not sure if Pete's a robot or not still, since that whole type thing with the Google little his offspring, and he brought it in and said it and talked to it and burped it and fed it and stuff. That was a little disturbing, but you guys didn't see that. But hey, it's okay.
Yeah, your mind's pretty quick. I'm wondering if you do this wait on purpose thing. It's got to be.
No, I'm not sure.
Okay. This time we're going to be
It's going to be an age-old question. I guarantee it.
Actually asking a real age-old question. How to survive an apocalypse. But we got to be more specific.
Oh, see,
which kind of
before you even go
apocalypse?
there, apocalypse is relative to your age and time. Like the bubonic plague, that was an apocalypse in its day.
A plague apocalypse.
When I pushed the dinosaurs off the flat Earth, that was an apocalypse for them.
Asteroid strike apocalypse. The asteroid's name was Harry. That's what pushed him off.
Asteroid. It was me. I don't believe I got you guys to believe that story.
Okay, we're going to go 50-50.
Really?
This side, I'm going to believe it was the asteroid.
Whatever. So say today. So if we fast forward, to the modern day, and an apocalypse right now would be all social media coming to a halt. There would be foment in the streets, gnashing of teeth. It would be horrific. It would be a nightmare akin to the whole entire plague thing.
Some people wouldn't notice.
Okay, some people, yeah. Okay, a few Tibetan monks
give that one a squeak.
Focused on, and they don't have Wi-Fi.
Well,
they wouldn't notice.
Internet down apocalypse. We'll call that number 3.
Well, I think that's the worst one that's possible.
Well, that also follows into like if it was an EMP, say
no,
solar flare.
We have solar flares all the time.
No, we had the Carrington event in, was it 1984 or something, and it like shut down a ton of stuff. And before that, the one was even worse. It basically destroyed all the teletype machines. So the possibility of us having one that destroys all electronics is really high.
We live in a hardened society. Everything's fine. We've got enough EM now that it'll deflect it back at the sun and blow it up. It's okay.
Well, let's just say it doesn't. That the stuff from the sun was a lot stronger. It doesn't. Then we got the EMP.
Okay.
We got the
That's
nuclear
an
holocaust, which is
electromagnetic
also a
peach,
possibility.
because every now and then Georgia loses its mind and creates these electronic peaches. They're horrible.
I wonder if anybody ever made hot sauce out of a peach pit.
This sauce is the pits.
Hey, listen back to Hot and Spicy. You'll know what we're talking about. I guess that was last week's episode, wasn't it?
In what time frame? Where? What world? I don't know. Which timeline are you in?
In our past, but still their future from the time of us recording this.
Yeah.
The now for them was last week.
Once again, review Hot and Spicy, and you'll understand the now versus the now or later. Which is, we had a good discussion about the now or later and the nerd, because we just did how good the nerd is. But let's keep going.
And the atomic fireballs.
Oh yes, we had to get atomic, and somehow that digressed into hot sauces. But
yeah, it was a lot of hot sauce.
Yeah, that's why it was the Hot and Spicy episode.
It was Hot and Spicy.
Yes.
And then you used your Hot and Spicy voice.
Yeah.
Anyways, so there's another as well, is that the nuclear holocaust, or a zombie, not nuclear holocaust, nuclear apocalypse, or zombie apocalypse.
Is going to be hot and spicy. So would the zombie apocalypse be a nuclear? Because I mean, what happens if the nuke mutated, and so you could have like a twofer?
That would be doubly horrible.
Why?
Because they'd be mutated zombies.
No, well, that could have created the zombie. So you've got
create mutated zombies.
Well, no, the zombies are mutant in the first place because we all know zombies don't exist. So
I don't want this one to be about zombies, man. So can we
you're
skip
the one that threw zombies out there.
I'm just saying it's one of the apocalypse options that people talk about.
So apocalypse scenarios.
Exactly.
So Brad Pitt's wandering around trying to understand why these zombies are not eating people, and then you discover that if you had like syphilis, it wouldn't eat you. So everybody goes out and try. Let's move on.
Yeah, most people saw that movie. Very good. Very nice. Moving on. Yeah, most people saw that.
Let's dodge that bullet.
Yeah, okay. So the one I'd like to talk about is the
internet apocalypse. No.
Well,
ooh, what happens?
The EMP, rather from say a nuclear high altitude explosion or high altitude nuclear explosion, hand for short, or a solar flare is strong enough to wipe out electronics. Now that means the internet's down, your phone don't work, and you're not listening to this, which is horrible on several occasions.
Is Taco Bell still open?
Probably not.
I mean, see, for a lot of people I know, that would be an apocalypse.
That would be
the Taco Bell apocalypse.
Well, I think the Taco Bell sometimes also causes
that's an intestinal apocalypse.
A back end apocalypse.
We're not discussing that kind of apocalypse.
Yeah, that's closer to the line of nuclear.
Well, yeah. There's fallout, all right, but we won't.
Hey, there we go. Thank you for grabbing that one.
Won't cross that line either. Yes.
Yeah. Oh boy.
It feels like my intestines are melting. Just
oh God! There's no way I didn't chip the porcelain.
So
honey,
yes.
we're gonna need more toilet paper.
But there was an apocalypse. The car doesn't work.
Oh boy. Oh man. If it's a EMP and your car doesn't start and you can't call anybody and there's no electricity in the grocery stores, the trucks, cars, nothing's running, what do you do when you run out of toilet paper?
Well, why would the cars not run?
Because they have lots of electronics.
What happens if you're sitting around and you go out to the garage and you pull the cover off of that, 57, and then you stick the key in it, then you go
like my bug, for example. Like my bug, for example, I have electronic ignition, but I also have the original.
You still have the T-string? I mean,
I have all the ability to start it with nothing more than the battery and all the
that pull thing for the lawnmower engine.
Well, that was something that you could probably do with it. I do have a second pulley on my crank. I might be able to do that. I don't know.
That seems awfully
tough. It is.
All we have to do is push it real fast, and then we're good to go.
Yeah, you can jump it. Yeah. But
your Tesla's not working.
The alternator probably won't work.
Man, who needs that?
Well, that means you have to charge your battery.
No.
Not too many other ways to charge your battery.
Well, hopefully the toilet paper's only down at the corner of 7-Eleven, so you just make it there and get back.
But if 7-Eleven's not open, you got to have a way to get into it. It's probably locked.
You kick the door in.
Well, it's some pretty strong glass there too, and it's probably.
Well, that's what you hit it with your bug.
Well, think about this too.
Windshield. You hit the bug.
Yeah, the bug usually hits the windshield. Only this time,
a little backwards.
The bug hits the windshield.
But there's an apocalypse, so that's acceptable.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a really big bug.
Yes, went right through. Well, the problem is it's probably already being looted because if there's panic in the streets, like, oh my God, what do we do? And with hurricanes here, what does everybody run out and buy?
Usually, Boone's Farm.
Lots of alcohol.
White Claw.
Cheaper stuff usually.
Yeah. Usually
the non-alcohol stuff. What do they buy?
White bread.
Mm-hmm.
White milk. Bread. Oh, milk. Yeah. But with no power, that's gonna go bad in like 2 days. No. Why would you need toilet paper?
It's the first three things off of the shelf. Toilet paper, milk, and white bread for some reason.
When Hurricane Dorian was coming and didn't show up, and I actually went to Walmart And do you want to know what was not on the shelves?
Generators. Because they were on the ground and they were too heavy.
Cookies, Doritos.
Yeah,
chips were gone.
Oh, your standard hurricane party equipment.
Yeah, toilet. You could have gotten all toilet paper you wanted.
Oh, that's nice.
Because people were really concerned. Well, hell, we're gonna die. We're gonna go out in a party. We're gonna blaze of carbohydrate glory.
Well, without electricity, is your toilet gonna flush?
Huh?
Without electricity, we're talking about the entire grid, and it no longer has the pumps running at the water treatment facility, and we don't have city water anymore. You won't have water coming in. Will your toilet still flush?
If you're on a septic system and you've got well water, yes.
And if the bowl to the toilet, that lid
is
in the back,
lowered, yes.
if you take the lid off the back and you fill it up, yeah, it'll flush.
Yeah, so you just use the water in your bathtub.
Well, hopefully you filled up your bathtub if you knew a hurricane was coming. But in this case, if it was a solar flare or a high altitude nuclear explosion that caused the EMP, like worldwide, we're talking no more electrics work at all.
Except for
you didn't know. You weren't prepared for it.
Yeah, but there's still pressure in the system, so you can at least, if you're smart, before everyone else starts
the
draining
very first thing you should do.
Exactly.
Cap and run. That's right. Turn it all on.
Yep.
Let the hot water fly. Let the cold water fly. Fill that
Well,
time.
hot water. Well, but your gas igniter is no longer working.
Well, if it's the electric, like the water heaters, for example, they're already hot, ready to go once you turn on. It's not an on-demand system. Unless you have an electric on-demand water heater.
Then you're screwed.
Yeah, then you're not getting hot water.
Not at all.
But we'll hopefully have, say, a barbecue grill. Even if, like, a vegan or something like that, people will still barbecue some vegetables.
Barbecue vegan stuff.
You can.
No, you cannot.
Are you serious? You've never put corn on a barbecue grill?
I'm not a deer. I don't eat corn.
You've never put, like, zucchini on a barbecue grill?
They fall in, man.
Not the slices. Like, you put them long ways and cut them like a long pickle, not like the little slices you put in a cheeseburger.
Why would I grill a pickle?
You're not grilling a pickle.
I'm confused now. I'm easily lost.
Okay, a cucumber.
Why am I grilling a cucumber?
But you can, though, is what I'm saying.
I can stick my finger. Well, that's not. But why would I want to, though?
Well, if you had a gas grill or charcoal grill, my point is that you still have.
But you can't light the
way
grill.
to heat them up.
How are you gonna light the grill?
Matches.
You don't have your.
Hold
on. You just said matches.
Lighters still work too. They're not
Hi,
electronic.
my name is Harry from Not Robots. Those of you who actually have matches, heck, based on the age of most of our listeners, those of you who know what a match is, and I'm not talking about Match.com, Match Game, the actual physical thing, a match, please write in.
NotRobotsQuestions@gmail.com. That's all one word.
Matches.
Well, I have some. I have the waterproof ones in my camping
once
bag.
again, who are you?
I know.
So let's
Not everybody was a Boy Scout. I get it.
Let's take the common denominator. What's a match?
It's when
Isn't that one of those games you got and you slide the third thing over and then you shoot the monsters with and it clears the square?
It's when you flip one card and you go, oh, it's a diamond. And you flip the next card, oh, it's a flower. So you set them both down and you flip the first card.
Wait, are we not talking
it's a
about
diamond. And then you can
ESP where you're sitting there and you're going, it's a diamond.
Whoa, don't teach anybody my tricks now.
What? Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I showed a card trick the other day where I could just take a deck of cards that they're using or whatever, just shuffle them back up, set it in front of me, and I'll pull out all 4 aces.
Using ESPN.
Yeah, well, that's what it looks like to them, but I'm not telling my secrets.
For Pete's magic secrets. Email.
The same email again?
I'm advertising here.
I'm not revealing my secrets.
Fine.
My card tricks are my card tricks.
So for those of you
honestly,
who really want to learn Pete's, please write and harass him. Call, leave voice messages, and
they're not really my card tricks. I've learned them from other people over the years.
Oh, so these are
I've modified
handed down prestidigitations from the dawns of time.
They
so
can
you
be.
could be using dark magic.
Yes, dark prestidigitations.
Pete, I'm ashamed.
You want me to teach you how to do the 4 aces trick?
No, sir.
Okay.
I don't want to. You know, I've got to probably sacrifice some small creature. No, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, a frog and his name was Kermit. Poor guy.
Wow, you admitted to that? You know they're gonna come looking for you.
Hello, Miss Piggy.
Oh wait. On a sad note,
Dun, dun.
today on my journey on the social media platforms, I discovered that Kobe Bryant died today in a helicopter crash.
No, he didn't. Did he really?
It's all over the internet.
Huh.
It is sad. So, Kobe, you gave us many great years displaying a fantastic skill. You are legendary, one of the greatest of all time. You shall be missed. Back to Not Robots.
Man, that's somber.
Yeah, it was, but you know, he's a legend.
That reminds me of when Paul Walker went out.
Yeah, that was sad.
Man, I was like, man, there goes another good actor that didn't push politics on people, didn't give people his opinion of crap, and nobody cares about.
Because people listen when you've got a following of millions of people, and you can actually change the world.
Sure, but you're changing it based upon what it is you think.
Well, you don't have to say what you think. You know, every now and then, just say the right thing. Say the right thing.
Well, how about just keep your opinion to yourself when it comes to this sort of stuff?
But there are things out there that should be spoken about.
Well, when it comes to politics, I don't want to hear it from an actor.
Why not?
Because how do I know they're not acting?
How do you know that they're not, like Keanu Reeves, well read?
It could be.
So you're discounting their ability to be an intellectual based on their career choice?
Well,
really? Is that not some jacked up level of...
Nobody wants my opinion on politics.
That's not
Nobody
true.
wants your opinion on politics.
That's not true either. That's why we vote. That is our opinion on politics.
That's right, but they don't want us telling the world.
Why not?
I'm gonna tell the world that I'm a supporter of this guy, or I'm a supporter of this girl.
However, if I'm a supporter of this guy for a subset of facts, one of those facts may be something someone else didn't realize and go, you know what? I agree with that fact, and because then they get one more supporter.
Yeah, but see, let's use an example here. If we were to say that we were supporting one particular person versus another particular person, these people that nowadays feel so strongly about it being A or B that they're like, oh, these people are assholes. Listen, I don't want anything to do with them. Basically, you're cutting your audience entirely in half. That's a horrible idea.
So I should repress my opinion because society has become so polarized that we can't have open discussion. So by doing that, don't I support the lack of open discussion?
Well, yes and no. What you need to do is not push your opinion on other people and tell them that they should think the way that you do.
But if I
people
choose
think for
to
themselves.
just voice my opinion in general, so I don't have freedom of speech, is what you just said. Because if I speak, then someone's going to get upset.
Oh, you do.
No, but no, I don't.
You do.
No, I don't.
But if you
just
were to
countermanded it right there.
But if you were to do it and you put that online and you said everybody should think the way I do, everybody should do the same thing as me.
No, I don't
that's
necessarily
wrong.
have to say everyone should think, but I support this for X and Y and Z reasons. Debate me.
That's different. That's not what anybody's doing.
That's because we've lost that art.
That is right. Nobody has learned and nobody's been taught how to actually talk about politics without there being some headbutting and somebody going in the name calling and all of a sudden somebody's an a-hole.
See, I'm not 100%. No, I'm not. No, I can't go down this rabbit hole. I'm gonna dodge this bullet. You know, let me make this one.
in an apocalypse, like EMP and all electricity out, no more internet, no more TV, all that.
So I can go all Walking Dead and become my own personal dictator.
Well, we're not talking about, The Walking Dead.
No, but I mean now you've created isolate because now we are no longer interconnected anymore.
Well,
so now we've got enclaves.
One thing about The Walking Dead though is they did have the villages that they had cleared out all the zombies and there wasn't really a threat anymore, but they still had their security on their fences. They still had farming. I would probably be the blacksmith. You know.
Why is it gotta be a black thing?
That's just what it's called.
Oh, why?
I don't know. It's not called a whitesmith.
Why not?
Because when you're beating on steel over a hot coal all day long, or the forge, you're getting soot on you, and the soot happens to be burnt, which
should be
is
called
black.
a sootsmith.
Hey, I didn't name it. I mean, an angelfish doesn't have a halo either, so. Yeah, silly language.
English.
I wonder. I don't know what the word blacksmith is in German.
Where'd you and you left your child at home? Had you brought your child, we could have asked
Oh,
it.
the Google Home Mini again?
Your child is not with
could
you.
have asked it.
Baby Pete. Kind of like
I
that
don't
thing
know
they
if
call
it-
Baby Yoda.
I don't know if it translates on the thing.
It's Google.
I assume it does. It should do everything. It's Google.
Yes.
And Google does have a translate function.
Yes.
In fact, I learned recently that if you take your phone and you have a G-type phone, I don't know if it does it on the I's or not, but the G's they do. All your Androids or your
Why
G
would
phones.
you do it in your eye?
The letter I, not EYE.
Oh.
The type of phone with I
U.
at the beginning of it. Not a U
The
phone.
U phone.
No.
No?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
As in the letter I, not the EYE or me. Not
The me
YFU.
phone?
No. Well, anyways, if you're using a G phone or the Android variant of any type, and you take put your camera over top of something that's another language, like Japanese, for example, is how I figured it out. Because my daughter has a hat that she got out of one of her bento boxes. She likes the Japanese
Where's she getting bento boxes
anime,
from?
cartoon stuff. Well, I'll explain all that stuff to you later if you really want to know. Pretty cool. But anyway.
She's getting bento boxes around here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
You
we
can
gotta
have,
talk
it's the United States of America. You can order anything you want from anywhere.
Fresh.
Yes.
What, they're like hyperflight drop shipping it from Japan?
Darn near.
Dang. I'm impressed.
Anyway, so there's a hat that came in one of them, and it had some Japanese writing on it. I don't know enough Japanese to be able to read any of the kanjis or any of the different types of
Probably
writing.
said, ha ha ha, stupid American.
No. Well, I put my phone up to it, and I was trying to take a picture to put it online and see if somebody could translate it for me.
And the phone
And
read
the
your
phone
mind.
went, whoop, and said exactly what it was right on it. I was like, I had no idea that it did this. Apparently, it said platelet. But so I looked up the word on Google Translate, the word platelet, put it in kanji, and it was right. It was put it back the other way, and it was platelet. Well, I was like, why on earth is there this Japanese cartoon stuff, box with food and memorabilia and figurines and a hat, a t-shirt, stuff like this?
Oh my God, she's eating hats.
No, well, it's not just food. It
Okay.
has other stuff too. And
Hi, Merida.
and I don't know. I had no idea why platelet. And she was like, well, I don't know either. And then like the next day, she's like, oh, I figured it out. It had something to do with one of the characters.
So the character's name is Platelet.
No, I don't know. I guess it had something to do with them. I didn't ask enough. I probably should have.
Yeah.
But yeah. But anyways, in like The Walking Dead, they do have the blacksmith, and they have farmers, and they have blacksmith's apprentice and other stuff like that, and they have their own
Assassins.
socio-economic stuff. They have their people that go out and hunt.
No, assassins.
They might. I mean, I don't know if they actually work for the village or not. I don't know what type of village you'd be running.
Yeah, because they'd have to have a creed and a guild and all those cool things.
Yeah, and have to be able to jump from tall buildings and be able to make it all the way, Assassin's Creed style.
Right, I wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking of the original role of
The original role of an assassin was to kill people?
It was political, actually.
Oh, okay, so they did political assassinations.
But that's right.
Well, isn't that what ninjas did too? That's where the word ninja comes from?
Not necessarily. But they could have been used as both a defensive and an offensive force in the.
Well, I thought the samurai were the defensive force and the ninjas were the offensive.
No.
When ninja was also kind of a thief too, wasn't it?
I don't want to get down into this debate. Any ninja out there that listens to this podcast, can you please give us a history of your whole entire well, not your organization.
You think there's real ninjas, like, still today? Like, really? I mean, there's guys that practice ninjutsu, no doubt. Guys who do ninja stuff, they train for it, and I'm doing the art of ninjutsu, as in one of the martial arts. But do you really think there's people that their whole career is actually a ninja?
You do realize that being a ninja meant being unseen, so it would be like being in an organization that you didn't want people to know that you were in. They have that in America too. So while you were not carrying out your role in that organization, you're blending into society in a way and fashion which makes you invisible largely to the common person, correct?
That's fair.
Until, a protest comes up and you're wearing your garb and people go, isn't that Joe? That looks like Joe's eyes.
I'm dressed up like a ninja today, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
And welcome back to this episode of...
Hold on.
Now you gotta sync that up. And welcome back to today's episode of Not Robots. Hi, my name is...
Whoa.
My name is... Oh, sorry.
Harry Shady. All right, so where were we at here?
I don't know. You were changing... You had to go change your batteries.
Before that.
Because apparently your howitzers were not hitting their target, so you changed your weapon system type. So yeah, we were discussing that there were little enclaves and they had, all the representative things, and we were discussing assassins, and somewhere you dragged ninja into this, and you asked me if I believe that ninjas still exist today. I'm like, well, secret society, how many secret societies exist today? And we don't really know about them because they blend into common society by night, I'm a secret society member X. By day, I'm your Uber driver. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna go, hey, I'm wearing my badge, secret society.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, he could have been like killing people all day long. Next thing you know, he's you're getting the back of his Prius. Well, in the post EMP time, there's not going to be a Prius.
Yeah.
I mean, they might be gutted out and then drawn by horses.
They could go all Flintstone though.
They are pretty light,
Cut
man.
the little floor panels out and you just get your run on.
Well, you could probably hook up a pedaling system to those things. Those are really light cars, man.
Why would you want a pedaling to run?
Well, if you take all the batteries out of it, those cars don't weigh like hardly anything at all.
Oh, great. So in Florida, when the hurricane comes and, the postal, because, this would happen right as a hurricane was bearing down.
And no one would know.
And it would blow everything away and it would be great.
Because we wouldn't have like the Weather Channel or anything like that to tell us
we
that it's coming.
We wouldn't know that Jim Cantori was in town.
Oh no.
Which is usually the sign to free the state.
He's usually the sign of the apocalypse.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, if that guy's showing up, you know it's gonna get bad. Oh boy.
What's coming in Category 1? And even worth getting out of my bed for. What a cat for? Maybe. Where is it gonna be at? Ooh, high water.
Jim Couture's here. Oh crap!
Wait, we don't. This is a Cat 5, but theoretically it should be an 8. I'm there. Somebody book me a flight. Anybody got my tie downs?
Yeah, make sure that house has those hurricane straps.
Yeah.
But yeah, so one of the things you definitely need to stock up on previously is 10 mils.
Are you sure? Once again, these companies and they make these things and the drawer and they come and they have different drawers, right? And you can open them and they're called tool boxes.
Well, yeah,
and, they're really tall standing ones, and you can actually have a drawer of whatever you want, all depending on the size and or shape of your toolbox.
I've been doing my own auto maintenance since I was like 13 years old, man. I got my first car when I was 14 and had to rebuild the whole thing because it was wrecked in 2 sides. So I built the engine multiple times before I actually learned what it is I was doing. I got a book from the library. This is back when people actually used the library and books.
Wait.
And
is it book what you do when you're flying?
Like booking a hotel?
Yeah, because there's that whole site and they do advertising.
Like probably a booking with some sort of .com afterwards?
Yes, exactly. Isn't that
or
what you're talking about?
.net. Is there a .net anymore?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Somebody use a .net?
I use that .fishing net.
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's go PH.
Yes. There sure is.
Nerd joke, sorry.
I almost fell for one of their emails today. I was like, wait a minute, because it looked authentic. It looked like somebody had purchased some sort of premium version of Netflix on one of the Apple devices at my house. Well, I don't have them. My hands don't work on things. My wife and both my kids, they have tablets, and they're phones with the eye at the beginning of them. And I thought, hey, one of you guys accidentally get some sort of an upgraded version of Netflix? I mean, we already have the HD 4 screen, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a monthly basis, so we pay $12 a month or whatever it is for it, which is rather expensive for the streaming services because the rest of them are a lot cheaper, other than maybe Amazon. But that comes with a lot of other benefits.
No.
I don't know about the Hulu with the ESPN sports stuff. You have that.
That's like $60.
Oh my goodness, per month?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you do that for your kids, so
Yeah.
we all sacrifice for our kids.
The sports thing.
My wife and I'm sure did you or one of the kids order something like 30 minutes ago? Some upgraded Netflix version or whatever added like an extra $30 to our monthly bill. It's like no, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, wait a minute, this looks real. Are we sure? So I click the little email address, and it's one of those fake email addresses that's like, oh, if this is incorrect, click here, and then it goes to a fake website where you type in your info, and now they have your name and password, and next thing you know, you are buying it. Well, no, I didn't do any of that.
So if you type in someone else's name and password.
Well, I don't know. I don't ever click the things. I just mark them as spam and then report them to UCE.gov.
Bad idea. I need to talk to a buddy of mine and have him write a little program I can run on my laptop, and every time one of those comes up, it'll generate some random email address password combination. Eventually one of them will be right for something, and it'll piss them off.
But it wouldn't be right for you, it would be right for them.
Yeah, but it's a scam anyway, so I'll counter scam the scam. I'll scam the scam back.
Oh,
Anti-scamming.
You'll keep giving them fake names and passwords every time, so it comes up wrong. Well, I always forward them to the UCE.gov.
That's
the spam site.
That's not as much fun.
I think it's called spam@UCE.gov.
Because if you can scam them back, you keep them, on the hook long enough, you can find out where they are.
Well, if somebody in this room is smart enough to backtrack where something came from on the internet,
and then you accidentally introduce a bug into your anti-scam scam, and then you take over their computer.
They claim that they were a legitimate business and that you were hacking, and next thing you knew, well,
prove it.
I don't want to do any of that.
Somebody prove that.
But I could totally figure out where it came from. It's not a bad idea. Huh. Well, one of the very first things I learned was Wireshark. And how to protect your own network against people using it.
Yeah, because you can close down all open ports that you're not doing any outbound traffic on. And
right. Well,
wait. Now, hold on. Now we're having discussions that have nothing to do with the apocalypse, because you can't do this when the EM goes off and your computer is essentially a serving tray. Well, your laptop is.
Well, your desktop could be a footstool.
Or doorstop.
It's usually not heavy enough.
Really?
I mean, if it's an Apple, boy, those things are freaking heavy.
Oh yeah, there's servers.
Cases. Oh my goodness.
Those servers are no joke. Yeah.
Well, my wife and I were going through some of the old computers I had in the house, and when I sold
all 4.2 million of them.
No, not quite. When I sold my last house, and we were going through the garage, and we're getting rid of stuff. Well, what I do is I take all the best stuff, all the stuff that's modern, and I'll put it all together, and I'll make it into a decent computer, and I'll sell the computer, recoup some of my losses from like working on other people's stuff. And then if it's parts, usually those parts are what it is. I'll sell to a friend for like $10 or something, so he doesn't have to spend like 60 or 100 or whatever it is. If it's a power supply, and his power supply went out, and he doesn't have any money, I'll just get a cheap power supply out of things. Here you go, man. Just give me for lunch, one of these other days or something. Cool. All right. Well, if I have a bunch of parts left over from, say, sometimes people will just give me their old computer. If I would freely transfer all their information into a new one. Well, I had a whole bunch of computers. At last count, after putting all the good stuff together, and then donated the ones that were not in the higher range but in the lower range, and donate all those. All the ones I had left that were just parts, 47 computers, including laptops, with power supplies, cords, the works. I had 47 of them after all of that. Well, my wife, again, calling me a hoarder, I'm kind of continuing to do the same thing because people know me-ish for that sort of stuff. Through my work, they come to me, they have problems, whatever. Well, even you has sent a computer to me to say, hey man, this thing's not working right. Can you...
Because you're Pete the Hoarder. Well,
no, I'm not a hoarder. But I know how to fix most of this stuff. And I was actually able to get all of your information off that busted hard drive that shut down on the thing, right?
It's actually sitting on my desktop right now.
And I got it all. Well, the moment I was done with it, that hard drive was so hot, it locked up the rest of the way. I can't even take it apart. I mean, I could.
And melted it?
Well, it's melted inside of the thing. Something, I don't know, I should take it apart and take a look at it, but something melted. I think it was the plates in there actually melted to the magnets or something, because it got crazy hot. It was really hot, yeah. But I guess when it wasn't working right because the bearings probably went out, they were bad on the thing, or it was dragging on the mechanical arm in there, because it's spinning hard drives. Nobody really uses them anymore, but that's part of the reasons they have that failure point. But what are you going to do with these hard drives if there's EMP? Because if you put them on magnet, poof, it's gone, right? The same idea, it's going to melt them all. What are you going to do with them? Well, inside of them has really strong magnets.
So we could create generators.
Well, you can do stuff with magnets, like all sorts of different things.
Yeah, you create generators.
You can make, like, say, alternators or electromagnetic stuff. You can create a generator, like you said, with it, if you find some copper wire and you have the magnets, because those are the neo whatever the heck magnets, and they're really strong. So you wouldn't even need but like maybe 6 of them, and most hard drives have at least 2 already in it. And they're kind of C-shaped too, so you can already use them around, as the stator.
Exactly.
Or, if you wanted to, if it's on a big enough pipe or something, you could put it around the rotor itself and then have the brushes and everything. You could make electric motors like that with those things. Or in the reverse, make the alternators or generators.
You got somebody in the village with really strong legs, just pedal all the time.
Or you can hook it up to a fan of some sort and have that fan pick the wind, make the wind generation.
Some sort of windmill power.
Exactly, wind power.
Or if you have a stream. What about the birds that are dying now?
Well, it only kills a few birds a month. Like even those big ones kill about 5 birds a month each. In a field of 1,000 of them, boy, that's a lot of birds. But, what if it's in a stream? Or if it's like, say, a smaller windmill, or it's lower, closer to the ground.
You don't have power.
No, like the water, like a stream or a river, and it has current. Well, you could have that.
You have current. You said you got EM'd.
Bum, bum, bum. Killing me, man. But so you have a guy there pedaling a bicycle.
Okay, yes.
All right. So anyway,
his name is Hodor, and his legs are the size of trees.
Oh yes, you know where that came from, right? Game of Thrones. You read Game of Thrones.
Yes, I read.
Yeah, I read all the books, and then I watched the TV series, which actually outran the books.
Which makes no sense.
Well, the guy who wrote the books was actually on the set.
Yeah, so he just kind of went.
And he's like, this is what happened next, this is what happened next, this is what happened next. Yes. South Park made fun of it too.
No. Oh man, I'm going to have to go find it.
Yes, there's a very good song. They make fun of J.R.R. Tolkien.
They'll according to your Witcher, valuable.
Well,
wrong.
I assume at some point South Park's going to make fun of The Witcher too.
How can you make fun of The Witcher?
How do you make fun of Game of Thrones? They definitely did it, and it's hilarious. They used the poor diabetic kid for it too, with Butters. Oh man, that was good. It wasn't as funny as like the episode with the shake weight. Because that one still, it's like season 14.
I didn't even see that episode, and the image that came to mind was horrible.
Oh, it is exactly what you're thinking.
I don't even want to know. No, it is not.
It is.
Purge.
And it's really funny.
No.
And for those of you who are interested in watching it, the name of the episode is called Cream Frage.
Oh my God!
Well, Well, it's about the cooking channel too. Food Network.
Oh my God. Okay.
Well, just to give you a brief synopsis.
Do you think you make butter in mason jar?
Stan, right? His dad, Randy, is like really into the cooking channel, like Food Network, and he's like, oh yeah. In the middle of the night, he's up just buttering stuff and cooking. The kitchen's basically just making a giant mess. Well, his wife, I think her name was Sharon. I don't remember, but she's like, well, he's not really paying attention to me. Well, all her girlfriends are like, well, you should start working out. So she goes and gets the workout equipment. It turns out to be the shake weight. And I'm going to stop you there because, oh yes, it's South Park. And it's way funnier than you can imagine.
When are they going to have another movie? Because the first one wasn't sufficiently, oh my God.
I don't know, the Broadway show they do about the Mormons apparently is doing really well. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. There's a Broadway show. They're going around like all over the world doing the Book of Mormon. Now it's Matt Stone and Trey Parker, so you know it could be, you know, the South Park-ish of Mormons. And if I don't know if you saw the South Park episode about Mormons.
No, I don't think I did.
But it was, yeah, I highly doubt any Mormons are listening to us. But
you never know.
If they are, I don't recommend for you to watch the South Park episodes about Mormons or to even see the Book of Mormon in Broadway format. I don't recommend it.
But why, Pete? But why?
I'm not. You can guess why. It's South Park, man.
So back to our topic du jour. So you can put the 10 mils in a.
Well, when there's no more electricity, you don't have that phone going, play with me, play with me, play with me.
Yeah, but
pay
here's the
attention,
problem. You don't have electricity, right? You don't have electricity.
Right.
So how are you organizing your 10 mils in that dark garage?
Outside. Well, you have this giant garage door that you can open.
How are you opening it? There's no power.
Pull the little red handle.
No, not the little red. I thought that was the
from-
emergency eject for the ceiling.
No, that red handle, if you pull it down, it actually unhooks it from the power garage door opener.
You say?
You can manually open your garage.
That thing's got to weigh like 400 or 500 pounds.
It does not.
Really?
Yeah, that's why that really tiny quarter horsepower motor that's in the ceiling can handle opening the garage door.
So that means I could just wander through the neighborhood and like rip everyone's garage door open.
Well, they're counterweighted and sprung. Well, no, if they're not pulled on, like if you don't hit that thing, because it locks them in place to it. But if they were to pull on it and leave it unlocked and slide it all the way down, it would just open and close really easily. But yeah, when they're counterweighted and sprung, they open really, really easily.
We
One
should
hand
have
style.
a deadlift your garage door challenge.
I'm pretty sure even the smallest of children will handle it. So
Take the fun out of everything.
pretty easy. Now, if it's a manual garage door, you don't have the power thing. It may not be counterweighted. It may be the weight of the garage door. Most of the time, that's only the single bays. But some of the older ones are the double bay doors that don't have the garage door opener. And those things do have some girth to them.
I like my garage doors girthy.
Girthy doors. It's got to be girthy on the way in and not as girthy on the way out.
Especially in Florida, because you know that will protect you from flying projectiles during the yearly apocalypses. Speaking of apocalypses, what is this episode?
Well, that would happen to be it, is like the lack of electricity apocalypse. Either from an EMP from the sun or from a altitude explosion nuclear
or from
device.
a hurricane coming through.
Well, we wouldn't know that it's a hurricane yet.
Yeah, so that would
Only-
be, so here's the great question. So if the apocalypse happens and we get EM'd and there's no power, so do hurricanes now have their fear factor, because now you don't have to worry about your power being knocked out because there was none in the first place?
Right, but since you don't know it's coming, are you going to board up your windows beforehand?
No, because you can't see with your windows boarded up because there's no light.
Well, it's starting to get really windy, and you're thinking, man, I should board up my windows.
Why would you board up your windows? Because it's really windy.
It's getting really windy. It's during hurricane season. You're playing it safe. You go to put them up. How do you attach them? Screws and a screwdriver. Have you prepared your arm to be able to do this 10,000 times?
So you ask your question, how hot is your wife? And then you go, could we persuade the blacksmith to...
Hey, blacksmith, you think you can make about 10,000 nails here in 20 minutes?
I was thinking about having him just screw the things in the... He's a blacksmith. His forearm's the size of an oak.
I don't know, man. Maybe if you're doing the bellows by hand, but I mean, most of the time I use gas. I use propane.
No, you gotta use the bellows by hand. You see, that's why you need the shake weight.
Well, maybe. Well, I hear that if you have your apprentice, they can do the bellows by hand too. Either the push-pull bellows.
That's not as much fun.
Or the
accordion bellows.
Accordion bellows, so you can use your hands and your feet.
feet.
Yeah, there's a couple of different types. There's box bellows.
Got a Conan that.
In
fact, you know what? You should hook your bellows up to a giant stone and make him walk, pushing the stone around in a circle.
Well, if the stone's heavy, it kind of defeats the energy going into the bellows, doesn't it? You could have the bellows hooked up to, say, the bicycle as well, so it's on like counter, off center. So then, it can in and out for you on the thing.
But you can, but if he's pushing the stone, his legs will be strong enough for him to ride the bicycle forever.
Maybe.
Because, I mean, you see the size of Conan's legs from simply pushing the stone.
It's pretty stout. Conan is.
He should be able to.
These are which all Olympic-sized human beings should be judged.
And he probably have been able to generate enough power for an entire city.
Only during that time didn't Arnold Schwarzenegger admit to using like steroids and stuff though?
But everyone was using steroids. Steroids weren't illegal yet.
Oh.
There's that detail.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Steroids only became.
Well, some of these guys now are like bigger. Like look at Kai Green, for example. Do you think Kai Green used steroids when he was younger?
No, you don't have to use steroids anymore. Just better stuff.
Well, I agree that you can go to GNC and get some stuff better now.
No,
but
it's better stuff. Once again, this is an episode for my nerd buddy Dan. We need to drag his behind in here.
Yeah, where is Dan?
Down the street and around the corner.
Have you ever thought about, like, before we do a recording, say, hey, Dan, I'm going to let you know that one of these days, when we get into the captain's chair, when we do our starting captain's log.
When you record, Dan usually has quality time with the wife and kids.
Oh.
Yeah, so late for Dan.
Well,
Dan's an early riser.
Oh, Dan's one of them that goes after that early bird worm thing.
I start work at the cracking of dawn before they start bothering me, and then I get all my work done, and then they bother me for the rest of the day, and I don't get as much work done. Well,
blacksmiths do better work at like when it's darker, because you can't really see the colors of the steel when it gets hot. Like the temperature of the steel changes color with temperature. I mean, yeah, the temperature of the steel was different colors based upon that temperature. You know what I mean? So it was like starts getting red hot. It's really not that hot.
The temperature changes color with the temperature?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the hotter the like so like spring steel, for example, if you were to run the temperature up on the steel,
winter or fall,
being able to make it work like a spring, elasticity.
Does it make that sound? Can you do the sound again?
Not quite a old showing, but so at the spring temperatures for that kind of that kind of resistance.
So you need a
like
specific temperature. Oh, okay, blue.
For
steel.
like knife though, you want it in like straw colored.
So flaxen.
Yes. So when you quench the steel, like when it's full critical temperature, you put it in, say, oil or water.
Smart water. Does it prefer?
It depends.
Like
brine.
Dasani.
Some people do brined water.
Gatorade.
They could. I've seen some people prefer to use beer. I know.
Because their sword is tipsy.
I don't know. I guess. But anyways, so when you quench it from critical temperature into whatever medium it is, for example, if it's water or oil, and it comes out basically hard as glass. It's super tough. I mean, super like hard, but it's very brittle. It can shatter. Steel can actually shatter, very similar to glass. It'll break. So what you do is you pull some of that hardness back with what's known as tempering. And when you clean that steel off and then you apply heat to it, you watch the colors change on the steel. And going into the straw color adds toughness to the steel, but still be able to maintain a very hard edge. That's for like knives. And you go into like blue in that range, that's like springs. You start getting further past that, it kind of ruins the hardness of the steel. But once you start getting further up in temperatures, it goes from like red to an orange to a yellow, and there's a white. If it gets a white, most steels end up just melting at that point. But yeah, you can actually watch the temperature on steel, and with your eyes, you can get good enough to know where the critical temperature point is for quenching. But another thing that happens with steel when it's at critical temperature, it's no longer magnetic. So you take a magnet and you check the side. Like, say you're making a knife, for example. Like when I made your knife, and I had it up to critical temperature, I checked it with a magnet and got it a little bit hotter because it will cool a little bit after the forge before going into the quench. Is I check it with a magnet and I make sure the magnet didn't stick, put it back in the forge, so the temperature come back up a little bit more, then yours was oil because it's 1095 and 15N20. But yeah.
And that's how you survive the apocalypse, apparently. Any questions?
Well, how would you make a battery?
A battery?
Well, so you want electricity to come back. We figured
out
how to make the alternator or generator by using the magnets out of the hard drive and copper wire and making windings, right? With that, you can, around magnets, so on, you can make your generator
you gotta make that
and hook that up to the bicycle, do it again. All right. How do you make a battery?
Google.
You don't have access to Google anymore because there's no electricity, no internet.
There is apparently because we were able to get the Holder is pedaling.
Okay.
Holder is pedaling.
If he's pedaling and he's creating a little bit of electricity,
it
doesn't mean that the World Wide Web is going to work anymore.
Charge the village mobile phone.
No, that phone's not going to do anything anymore. It was the EMP. It broke all the equipment inside of it. It's like over electricity, over everything. Way more than your little surge protector's going to do. What are you doing? Poking your hand?
Googling. I'm Googling.
You can't Google.
Why not?
The
Google's
internet's
still
down.
No, Google's not.
It is, though.
Why is Google down?
Because they're based in the internet. They're on computers. Computers don't work anymore.
They're on their separate. Fiber does not care about EM, does it?
Oh, but it still requires electricity. We don't have it anymore.
But Google does.
No, they don't.
Why not?
Okay, let's just bear with me for a minute.
Can you tell me why Google doesn't have power?
Because the whole world took this EMP, super strong, we'll call it, from a solar flare, one of the worst ones we've ever seen, and nothing electronic or electrical works at all anymore because all of them are overloaded because of the EMP. Your phone's dead, the internet's dead, you don't have anything.
But you had a spare transformer at the hydroelectric plant that hadn't been installed yet.
Okay, and it was in a Faraday cage. And you hooked it up and got the hydroelectric plant.
Because the water's running, the EM didn't stop water from running.
If all the servers in the world are no longer working,
Google's would be working.
One server is not going to be good enough. Okay, I want you to do a trace route and tell me how many servers you go through to get to Google and back to your house or your phone or your tablet or your desktop or wherever it is you happen to be. It's a lot of jumps. You're going through the servers from your internet service provider as well. I'm saying is Google's not going to work. You're not going to be able to access it.
It's not my AT&T will be fine because it's satellite based.
Okay, well obviously the satellites are done too.
Why are the satellites done?
Well, how are they going to be receiving anything on the ground?
Because Google's back online.
Your satellite don't beam directly to you.
No, but cellular and the towers are still there.
Okay.
EM did not make the towers melt.
Yeah, but any of the receivers that are in it did.
Yeah, but the Faraday cage had a receiver in it, so you put that out there in the field.
Well, you had backup everything in your Faraday cage.
I'm not stupid.
Absolutely everything in the world was all backed up, and there's carbon copies of everything put in Faraday cages. And when it happened, everybody went, ha, it's time to pull it back out, and you put it in there, and while your cage is open, boom, another EMP, and it burns them all out. We don't have access to Google.
Fine, we don't have access to Google.
All right, I don't remember why we were mentioning.
Because you're making a battery now.
Yes, how do you make a battery?
You use a little salt.
Okay, in ancient Egyptian times, people believed it was divine intervention or whatever when they touched two statues that were made of a metal of some sort, gold or whatever they were, and they got shocked. They didn't know what it was.
Static
It was some sort of electrical boom. Wow.
Boom. If it went boom, they were dead.
Well, in ancient times, somebody didn't understand something that was science, that was brand new, no idea, nobody knew how it worked. It was a religious experience. And that's what they believed it was. It could, yeah, in most cases is now, but in most cases we can answer just about everything with science. Just about. Okay. All right, go ahead and name something we can't answer with science.
The missing link between Neanderthal and current man.
Truth. That's right. Because the whole crawled out of the ocean thing, I don't think it's true either. But the idea of taking a tube of modeling glue and throwing it into a box of like an airplane model and shaking it for 1,000,000 years, is it going to come out as a model airplane or just a mess that's trash?
But it comes out as a mess that's trash that evolves over time into something that's adaptable enough to...
How did it evolve over time?
There were stressors in its environment.
Well, there had to be some sort of way for that to become a plane. We're missing something. There's some sort of other way.
Well, you use modeling glue. I mean, I think Gorilla would have been better.
It doesn't matter what kind you're using. You know, you take a gallon of milk and you throw it on your tile floor. What are the chances of it coming out looking like a map of the United States with roads and labels?
Well, labels, no. Labels would be a bit much.
But
roads, perhaps.
That's how complicated.
Labels would be a bit much.
That's how complicated the human DNA is, though.
Yeah, but it would be millions of years of...
How many times would you have to smash that gallon of milk on the ground? Is there even a remote chance that that's ever going to happen?
Yeah.
How far remote?
One in probably some number with an E.
I think that it would be a 0.0 followed by another Google worth of zeros, which, if you don't know, a Google is an actual number.
Yes, I know.
And I'm going to let you look it up.
I don't have to, I know.
No, I'm talking about our audience.
Oh, okay.
Those of you listening,
my bad.
those of you watching.
He's being bossy again.
A Google is a 1 with 100 zeros after it.
So, all right, fine. Let's extrapolate this backwards. So you're sitting there talking about primordial ooze. They've created essentially...
Just so you know, we're adding 20 minutes.
DNA into in an environment where they had it charged and had the right polypeptides and you know struck it with essentially lightning. And so let us assume that the double helix isn't as simple as we believe it to be, even though we understand it is truly complex. And it is literally the historical log of the evolution of the creature that we call man. So the first things that crawled out, it wasn't all that complicated. Over time, as the mutations occurred for it to adapt...
but its DNA was, though.
The first one?
Look at the DNA of an amoeba.
Oh, no, that's today's amoeba. I'm talking about original amoeba. Amoeba 0.
We don't have any way to see amoeba.
That's the thing. We don't have any way to see life form 0. We don't have
even
way to see
in single cell organisms
0.
Even in single cell organisms, when we look at the DNA strand, it's way more complicated than, you know, taking that gallon of milk, smashing it on the floor.
That's millions of years of it being a one-celled creature, and that's its entire history in there.
So its entire evolution happened only in its DNA.
Well, it's logged in it. I'm not saying it's It happened only in it, but every little modification was logged in there. If we had the key to unlock, oh god,
this is way more complicated than anything we need to know for like a post-EMP apocalypse, though.
Yes, you've taken us off the rails again.
Speaking of which, do you think the rail system would come back?
Because
we could make steam engines.
No, they're turbo diesel.
Or diesel engines.
But the current ones are turbo diesel.
That's right.
So we can
but
still run
it's still
them.
injected diesels. You have to change them to, what is it called where it's not fuel injection anymore? It's not carburation.
I can't even remember.
It would have to be magneto.
Was it glow plug? They had glow plugs, and I can't remember what it was.
No, not magneto, because then it would still be a spark plug. They still use glow plugs.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was before it was fuel injected.
But
crap.
Yeah. Well, there's still a mechanical injection, and a lot of them use mechanical injection, like the old Cummins, like the straight six Cummins, they were mechanical injection. So that could still be good, because there's no distributor, there's no electronics involved or anything.
Yeah, but how do we pump gas or fuel for that matter? We just go and somebody goes.
Well, my bug has a mechanical fuel pump.
No, I'm talking about out of the into the tank of the vehicle.
Well, you could have a mechanical fuel pump. Well, yeah, a mechanical fuel pump.
So gravitation.
Or you could do siphoning too as well. Yeah, that works too. Siphoning works.
So we would now go back and loot our Walmart and find that mechanical.
Okay, what is the effect called where, like, if you have a cup of water and you put or say it's half a cup of water, and you put a piece of thread into it, and it'll travel up the thread and then back down the thread.
Dang, now you're really...
What is that effect called?
I forget what it's called. Capillary action? Is that capillary action? No, it's not.
I think so.
Crap. I can't remember.
Man, anyways.
You had me decomposing DNA a second ago. I'm like, I can't fit all this in my head at the same time.
Where's Go-Go when you need it? It doesn't work in this scenario. But you could probably rename it to whatever it is you want if nobody inside your town knew what the heck it was called anymore.
That's true.
And then that effect where you take a cup, like a Dixie cup, and then you take another Dixie cup and you
put a
spin
string
it over top of it.
I was thinking you put a string.
And then you blow into the cup, poof, it'll pop out, and if you had another cup near it, it'll actually land into it. The effect that when that wind and the pressure changes would force it into the other cup next to it.
You blow Dixie cups off. Okay, so we're at minute 56 and 21. So what are we gonna do here?
I think it's time that we end it, and I do believe that
we haven't solved the problems yet.
Okay, well, you need everything backed up in a Faraday cage.
Yep.
You need to be able to learn your skills as far as how do you make a generator, how do you make a battery. You need to practice your blacksmithing skills. If you don't know anything about it, you need to learn some about blacksmithing skills, woodworking skills, some sort of ancient type skill that doesn't require the use of the electricity.
Assassination.
You need to learn either cooking over a fire, you need to learn hunting, you need to learn either bow, how to reload firearms, you need to learn some sort of those skills.
You need to learn how to reload firearms.
Well, if you're doing, say, deer hunting or bear hunting,
use a bow.
Well,
or snare, or trap.
Let's say, for example, that you had lots of ammo, you're good with the rifle, whatever, or there are other options, you're right, but let's just say that ammo in that sort of post-apocalyptic kind of scenario is probably going to be worth a lot more than
slingshot
gold. Just saying, I think ammo would be worth a lot of money.
Slingshot.
Or maybe it could be used as a currency.
Loader.
Yeah, there's lots of different options, but you need to at least learn some sort of skill that is outside of running your fingers and clicking your mouse.
Ninjutsu.
There you go. Yeah.
You'd appear out of a shadow in front of the deer, and before it could react.
You could learn ninjutsu. There you go. You could be a ninja in your post-apocalyptic time that doesn't require electricity. Now, I'd like to, at some point, maybe in a month from now, another 4 episodes or so, come back to the apocalypse thing, but only under another scenario, non-EMP. I think we should revisit the apocalypse thing. In fact, we could call it an apocalypse special. This one would be EMP. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're done here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for following along with our crazy rantings on episode, which number, Harry? Oh, you're going to put up your hand signals again. Remember, this is a podcast. People listen. They don't look unless for some reason they're watching our silly outtakes on the tube of views. That's right. 14. Very good. He can use his fingers, guys.
Thank you for partaking in episode number 14. If you want a true guide to the complexity of DNA, there is a plethora of information out there, but my biggest fear is once we truly understand the story, we as humans will try to change it.
Oh yeah, they'll screw it up. And with that, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, complaints, bitches, or gripes about anything you saw, or heard here, yes, usurped, you can email us at notrobotsquestions@gmail.com, or you can send us a voicemail or support the channel at anchor.fm/not-robots. Thanks for joining us. Not Robots out. And you know what? I didn't say anything bad about him. You didn't say anything bad about him. There's nothing wrong with him.
But we mentioned them, and that's bad.
We did mention something that
South Park and Mormon should never be said in the same breath.
They should not watch it.
That was a bad thing right there. You have opened a gateway to hell.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's a fire and brimstone kind of hilarity on those.
And I do not have my Vorpal sword or my saves, so we're screwed.
I can't help you with a Vorpal sword. Although, have you ever seen the anime Sword Art Online?
I've seen Sword Art Online, Sword Art Online 2. I didn't watch Gun Gale Online yet.
Okay,
I watched both movies.
There is one where the lady has the one sword where it's like kind of blue, but the hilt is like it's like this big around. It's a saber and it's angled in like as if it was a cone, but the top half of the cone was, and that was the guard on it, and it was a long like a rapier. And man, it's one of the coolest swords that they had on there. I thought like the guys that do this stuff on YouTube called Man at Arms.
Yeah, the guys that make the anime weapons.
Yeah, they made one. Oh my god, that thing was so cool. And now I don't think they followed it exactly the way it is in the cartoon. So I think I'd like to try making one.
And I haven't found the Gladius that I want you to make.
Well, Gladius is something that I do have to make. In fact, when I make it, I'd like to make a pair of them.
Yes, please.
And I'd like to make it where they're scout carried.
That's so my plan. I want to scout carry
at the same time.
But I wanted to do something really evil at one point. You'll have to make me a custom Gladius.
Okay. Well, I was thinking the problem with scout carrying is going to be their flat grinds, and the section of them is like diamond, and if both of them are diamond, they don't really fit together.
Nope.
Too well.
You'd have to slightly stack the scout carry.
Well, I want to stack them, but here's the problem with it. I'd have to flatten one end on both of them so they'd be together. Or what I can do is I can do
like this.
I'd have to do a center fuller, which means I don't know if you know what a fuller is. Some people called it a blood groove. It's not really a blood groove. It has nothing to do with it, but it has to do with this hollow grind that's in the middle of the blade down the length of it, or on the back of the blade, or something where it's very narrow, but it's for strength and to make it lighter. It's lighter and stronger at the same time, and it's in like knight swords have them down the middle of them. It's this concaved section. But if you had two fullers, it could probably line together.
I'm like an edged weapon guy.
Okay, cool.
I love me some good edged weapons.
So if I were to make the Gladius with two like fullers both sides, center, and they could probably hook together that way, or I could have a center piece that actually would allow those fullers to be what holds them snapped in place.
Wouldn't
be pretty cool.
A sheet that's slightly stacked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That way you'd have the offset.
Well, I don't want
each one.
I don't want a two offset, because even if they're diamond ground, both of them, it would still make them offset more, and that center would wear the center of the sheath out like horribly. So I would have to do some sort of flat grind on the center or a fuller. And if to make them light enough, I think a fuller is going to be the way to go.
Yeah, because scout carry. Because I'd either have to then change it from scout carry to a V down. Because then.
Or it could be over the shoulders.
No, you don't want to do that ever. Because now your armpits are open and you're a dead man. You want to be closed and smaller, so you want to be able to draw them from here. and be ready to go.
Yeah, even all knights know that you never expose the underarm, and you always
Because there's
shield
no armor
the
in
neck.
there.
That's why the neck shields were up as well, and they were always angled out too, for like anti-sparling basically. So if someone with a bodkin was trying to get you long range with their longbow, it would still deflect off of your chest armor and then out. The same way now that we have body armor where it's ceramics and it has like a rubberized coating over it, which is anti-sparling coating. So when a round were to hit it and it shatters that lead, or if it's steel core or anything like that, it would go off in pieces. It wouldn't go up into your chin or
That'd
your
be
face.
good, yeah.
Also, the same reason why we have the body armor for the neck as well. Like we're overseas and somewhere you know that there's a really high chance of getting shot at. You have it for your arms as well. You have it for your crotch area. Yeah, it's really heavy. No, it's not. It's standard body armor.
It looked like a bomb.
Standard military body armor, man. Have you ever had to fire a rifle wearing the big thing over the shoulders and the neck and the helmet and all that stuff?
Fire rifles, remember? Don't know.
Well, I'm just saying it's a real pain.
Guns.
Not that easy. There's a reason why you want the collapsible stock.
We shoot paintball guns. Paintball, okay.
Oh, okay. You're an airsoft fan too?
No, I'm not airsoft.
Oh.
Well, okay, so there's a story.
No, it's so rare that you have stories.
I can't remember.
This is actually an age-old question too.
Oh shit.
How weird is that?
All your questions are age-old questions.
This one is actually one.
Relative.
I don't know. I suppose.
No Mormons were hurt during the.
No Mormons were hurt during the filming of this episode.
Probably offended, but not hurt.
Well, they might have their feelings hurt.